The dark and dangerous world of The Witcher is filled with creatures guaranteed to haunt your nightmares. And while there are far too many to cover in just one video, we have nevertheless compiled a list of the top 5 most disturbing, so grab your silver swords and strap in. We're about to begin. 5. Necrophages. These scavengers of the Witcher world are creatures that feast on the dead and decaying, so naturally they are drawn to areas filled with suffering, such as plague sites and deserted battlefields. But a necrophage is not only one creature. No, the term is used to refer to a number of different monsters of grotesque appearance, all sharing an appetite for decaying flesh. And many of these beings are not content with simply devouring the scraps, deciding that they will instead become active hunters, attacking both wild game and passing humans. Certain breeds of these creatures even have a habit of burying or otherwise storing their fresh victims, consuming them only after several days once the process of decay is quite advanced. On a warm summer day, a well-stocked ghoul larder can be smelled from several hundred meters away, a fact that has helped many a Witcher locate their lairs. Some notable monsters that fall under the necrophage umbrella include the drowners, bloated, scaly creatures that inhabit both natural and man-made bodies of water, preying on nearby fishermen who get too close. Rot fiends, decomposing, skinless and surprisingly speedy beings that stalk battlefields and pollute the air with their poisonous, stinking gases. And ghouls, the most common of all necrophages, who roam on all fours in small packs, prowling crypts and catacombs for food. 4. Crones. These ladies of the wood are a trio of cunning and evil witches, residing in a cabin within the swamps of Velen. The Crones of Crookback Bog are far older than even the races of elves and dwarves, created by She Who Knows, an ancient druidess who the Crones would then imprison within the Whispering Hillock. They have spent their many years manipulating the locals of Velen into a sick kind of obedience, promising to use their powerful ancient magic to help locals survive harsh times, in return for tributes of flesh and unwavering obedience. While capable of taking on the appearance of beautiful young women, their true appearances are gruesome and horrifying, each unique and representing a way those accused of being witches were typically killed. Brewess, the master concoctor of potions and human soup, was bloated and constrained by rope and had a weaved basket over her head, as if she had been chucked into a river to drown. Weavess, the weaver of tapestries made from children's hair, had an eye infested with an insect nest, a noose around her neck, and an extra set of legs sewn into her stomach. And Wispess, who collected the ears of her servants to hear all that happened in her swamp, was long-limbed and burnt-looking, carrying a pouch of human limbs wherever she went. 3. Ethereal. Ripped straight out of the pages of the Hellraiser movies, the Ethereals are nightmarish shapeshifters, formed from the fears of Iris von Everec, with their heavily scarred and mutilated bodies taking on the form of her husband, constrained by rope, and with sacks on their heads. These beings twitch towards their enemies in a bizarre parody of human movement, but perhaps the most terrifying thing of all about these beings is the sickening cracking sounds that their bodies make whilst contorting in unusual ways. 2. Vampires. Now, vampires might seem an inappropriate choice for number 2 on our list, given the overabundance of angsty vampire romantic leads in modern media, but the vampires of the Witcher series are truly something else to behold, unhindered by the common weaknesses of vampires in popular media, such as stakes, silver, or holy water. These vampires aren't your typical arisen or undead beings. They are the descendants of 3 ancient tribes that arrived in Toussaint during the conjunction of the spheres, the cataclysmic multiversal event that trapped many species, including men, ghouls, and vampires, within the lands of the Witcher series. Now, technically there are 2 different subsets of vampire in The Witcher. The weaker, primitive, and cruel lesser vampires are guided more by instinct than by intelligence. These beings are vulnerable to sunlight and hunt exclusively at night. They also have an insatiable hunger, not stopping at draining the blood of their victims, but instead brutally rending them asunder to feast on their warm flesh. Subspecies of vampire that fall under the lesser category include the foul-looking Garcane and the vicious Ekimara. The higher vampires, on the other hand, creatures such as the Caretaker, Bruxa, and Nosferat, possess several unique traits not shared by their lesser cousins. They are often resistant to sunlight, and most can mask their true form, that which resembles a giant ferocious bat, and take on the appearance of a human, aiding them in hunting and evading pursuit. Many are also capable of turning invisible and possess telepathic powers, making them formidable foes for any witcher. Despite all these abilities, however, the creatures just mentioned are not true higher vampires. Genuine higher vampires are a separate, extremely powerful breed that sees the drinking of blood not as a necessity, rather it's like alcohol to them. And they command great powers, some which are unique to particular individual vampires. They possess remarkable speed and unbelievable regenerative powers, which allow them to return to life even after beheading, dismemberment, or incineration, though in such cases the process may take many decades. The threat posed by these vampires is best represented by the Unseen Elders, beings that are so powerful that they make Geralt look like a fear-stricken child by comparison. These are the most ancient of their species. Hiding away from the world, they possess inconceivable powers, and are far stronger than the normal higher vampires who look to them as authority figures. One being in particular is particularly terrifying. This unseen elder, visited by Geralt in the caves under Toussaint, can seemingly move around the room in the blink of an eye, and is capable of dispatching a panicked Geralt within an instant, should he do so much as bore him. 1. The Caretaker. And finally, our top spot on the list goes to a being shrouded in mystery. When approaching the Von Everec estate, passers-by may notice a hooded man, diligently tending to the estate, caring for the flowers, repairing the fences, and tidying the yard. But if you were to trespass upon the grounds of the estate, the Caretaker would reveal its true horrific form, as he peels back the hood covering his pale head to reveal a towering, gaunt being with a face devoid of features, just a mouth surrounded by a ring of flat, expressionless flesh that has been roughly stitched where the eyes and nose should be, and the limbs, joints, and deformed organs were also stitched together in a similar manner, forming a strange sort of patchwork man. And while much of this creature's origin is unknown, we do know that it is a demon summoned from another realm to defend the Lady of the Estate, and as such it is in the possession of a number of supernatural powers used to dispatch intruders, including the ability to heal itself by hitting its enemies, and call to its aid the tormented spirits of those it has killed in the past. Once he has dispatched the trespassers, the Caretaker resumes his duties around the estate with an eerie indifference, disposing of the intruders in a series of neat rows, just like garden beds, ready to resume his duties as the blank-faced caretaker of the estate. Which of these do you think is the creepiest? Are there any other monsters I should have included? Let me know down in the comments, and if you like the video, make sure to subscribe to Lore Tours and get your passport to your favourite fictional worlds. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.